Bahrain has chased grand visions of becoming a Gulf business and tourism hub, but some projects never lived up to the dream. Look at this skyline. It's gleaming, it's modern. It's the kind of thing you see on a postcard designed to make you think, wow, the future is now. And it's apparently made of glass and steel. For decades, this small island nation has poured billions into audacious projects, aiming to diversify its economy away from oil and transform itself into the premier destination for finance, luxury living, and tourism. It's a classic Gulf state playbook. If you build it, they will come. But what happens when they don't show up? Or when the money runs out halfway through building it? Behind the shimmering facade of success lies a different story, a landscape dotted with ghost towns, half-finished towers, and empty man-made islands. These are not just construction sites on hold, they are monuments to ambition that overshot reality, sprawling symbols of economic miscalculation and dreams deferred. They are the architectural equivalent of buying a Peloton during lockdown and now using it exclusively as a very expensive coat rack. Tonight, we're going on a tour of Bahrain's most pointless construction projects. We'll explore these colossal undertakings, from luxury islands that remain eerily quiet to financial districts that never quite became the Wall Street of the Middle East. We'll delve into the billions invested, the promises made, and the stark, often desolate reality left behind. So grab your hard hat, or don't. Honestly, safety standards seem to have been optional on some of these sites, as we uncover the stories of the mega projects that promised a golden future but delivered a kingdom of empty dreams. Let's begin with a project so ambitious it was literally shaped like a string of pearls, Durat Al Bahrain, or Pearl of Bahrain. The marketing for this was, and I'm not exaggerating, peak real estate poetry. They promised a haven of luxury, a world-class residential, commercial, and tourist destination. It was meant to be a $6 billion masterpiece featuring 15 interconnected artificial islands, including 6 petal-shaped atolls, 5 fish-shaped islands, and 2 crescent-shaped landmasses. It sounds less like a housing development and more like the result of a focus group attended exclusively by mermaids. The scale was staggering. We're talking about over 21 square kilometers of reclaimed land, designed to house up to 60,000 residents and attract 4,500 visitors daily. The plans included luxury villas with private beaches, a marina big enough for a Bond villain's yacht collection, an 18-hole golf course designed by Ernie Els, luxury hotels, and sprawling commercial districts. It was pitched as the pinnacle of opulence, a place where the global elite could sip champagne while watching the sunset over their own private slice of the Arabian Gulf. It was the Gulf's answer to the French Riviera, but with more sand and presumably fewer French people. The initial phases saw a flurry of activity. Villas were built, the marina took shape, and for a moment it seemed like the dream might actually materialize. The early promotional materials showed bustling boardwalks, packed beaches, and a vibrant community. It was a vision of paradise meticulously crafted by marketing executives. This wasn't just about selling homes. It was about selling a lifestyle. A fantasy of perpetual vacation in a perfectly manicured, perfectly exclusive environment. The kind of place where your biggest daily concern is whether to take the jet ski or the golf cart to the clubhouse. But then, reality, that pesky party crasher, showed up. While some of the villas were sold and are occupied, a significant portion of the development remains a ghost town. Drive through large sections of Durat Al Bahrain today, and you're greeted by an eerie silence. Rows of identical sand-dusted villas stand empty, their windows staring out blankly at deserted streets. The promised vibrancy is nowhere to be found. It feels less like a haven of luxury and more like the set of a post-apocalyptic film where the only survivors were extremely wealthy. The dream of a bustling commercial and tourist hub has largely evaporated. Many of the plots designated for hotels, shopping malls, and entertainment venues remain barren patches of sand. The golf course, a key attraction, has faced significant delays and remains incomplete. The project, which was supposed to be a self-sustaining city of the future, feels more like a disjointed and sparsely populated suburb. It's a classic case of supply dramatically outpacing demand, a multi-billion-dollar bet that simply didn't pay off. What went wrong? A perfect storm of factors, really. The 2008 global financial crisis hit just as the project was gaining momentum, drying up international investment and dampening buyer appetite. Then came the Arab Spring in 2011, which created political instability in Bahrain and further spooked potential investors and residents. The dream of a stable, secure paradise was hard to sell when there were protests on the streets just a few miles away. The result is a landscape of stark contrasts. On one side you have the occupied villas with their manicured lawns and luxury cars. On the other, you have the vast, empty stretches of land and the vacant homes, slowly being reclaimed by the desert. It is a powerful visual metaphor for the gap between the grand vision and the sobering reality. The developers created a massive, beautiful pearl necklace, but it seems they forgot to find someone to actually wear it. Durat Al Bahrain stands as a cautionary tale. It shows that you can reclaim land from the sea, you can build thousands of luxury homes, and you can spend billions of dollars, but you can't artificially manufacture a community or conjure up demand out of thin air. The Pearl of Bahrain still glimmers from satellite images, a stunning feat of engineering, but on the ground, its luster has been significantly dulled by the harsh realities of economics and politics. It's a beautiful, expensive, and very, very quiet place. Now, let's move from luxury living to high finance, or at least the intention of high finance. Welcome to the Bahrain Financial Harbor, a project designed to be the beating heart of the Middle East's banking industry. Its centerpiece consists of two stunning sail-shaped twin towers. The harbor towers, which at 53 stories high were the tallest in Bahrain when completed. They were meant to be a beacon signaling to the world that Bahrain was the region's undisputed financial capital. The marketing was slick, confident, and dripping with corporate ambition. The vision was clear: create a city within a city, a fully integrated state-of-the-art financial district. The master plan for this $1.3 billion project included not just the iconic office towers but also Media Group, CGI animation of Bahrain Financial Harbor Master Plan, renderings of multi-use skyscraper complex at stock at distribute _equally, a financial hall for trading, a 5-star hotel, residential apartments, and retail space. It was supposed to be Bahrain's Canary Wharf or Wall Street, a bustling hub where global bankers would make billion-dollar deals, fueled by overpriced coffee and the relentless hum of the global economy. It was designed to cement Bahrain's long-standing reputation as a banking-friendly nation. The initial hype was immense. The towers were completed in 2007, just before the global financial system decided to immolate itself. For a moment, it looked like a triumph. The structures are genuinely impressive, a landmark on the Manama skyline. They represented the peak of Bahrain's confidence, a bold declaration of its economic prowess. The government and developers were selling a future where Bahrain wasn't just a player in Gulf finance, it was the game. But then, the global financial crisis of 2008 hit with the force of a tidal wave. The very industry this project was built to serve was suddenly on life support. International banks, which were supposed to snap up entire floors of this gleaming new office space, were too busy laying off their own staff and begging for government bailouts. The timing, to put it mildly, was suboptimal. It was like opening a luxury umbrella store in the middle of a drought. The result? Under-occupancy. For years, vast sections of these magnificent towers have remained stubbornly empty. While some tenants, including government bodies and local financial firms, did move in, the hoped-for influx of global financial giants never materialized. Walking through the complex can be an unnerving experience. You see pristine marble floors, soaring atriums, and futuristic architecture, but a distinct lack of people. The silence in a place built for frantic energy is deafening. It's a financial district that feels permanently on holiday. Furthermore, the grander vision for the harbor remains largely unrealized. The planned residential and hotel components have been stalled for years. The wider area around the iconic towers is a patchwork of Media Group, overhead shot of mixed-use development with empty plots, construction cranes beside finished towers at stock, distribute _equally, completed buildings, ongoing construction, and empty plots. The city within a city never fully coalesced. Instead of a vibrant, integrated district, it feels more like a few isolated office buildings waiting for the rest of the neighborhood to arrive. A party that started, but most of the guests decided to stay home. The reasons for the struggle are multifaceted. The 2008 crisis was the initial body blow, but competition from other regional hubs, particularly Dubai and its thriving Dubai International Financial Center, has been relentless. Dubai simply offered a more attractive, dynamic package for international firms. Bahrain Financial Harbor was built on the assumption that Bahrain would remain the top choice for finance in the Gulf, an assumption that proved to be tragically optimistic. Today, the harbor towers still stand tall and proud on the skyline, a beautiful but hollow symbol. They are a monument to a specific moment in time, a moment of peak oil wealth and boundless optimism, right before the bubble burst. They were built for a future that never quite arrived. The Bahrain Financial Harbor is a stark reminder that even the most impressive structures are meaningless without the human and economic activity they are designed to house. It's a world-class facility that is still waiting for the world to show up. If Durat Al Bahrain was the exclusive pearl necklace, Amwaj Islands was supposed to be the more accessible, vibrant resort for the masses, or at least the upper-middle-class masses. Developed on a group of man-made islands near Muharraq, Amwaj was pitched as a pioneering project, the first to allow 100% freehold land ownership for expatriates in Bahrain. This was its big selling point, a game-changer designed to attract a flood of foreign investment and residents. The name itself, Amwaj, means waves, and it promised a new wave of modern, waterside living. The vision was for a fully integrated community with a mix of residential properties from towering apartment blocks to luxurious waterfront villas, but it was also meant to be a lifestyle destination. The master plan was packed with amenities, a marina, a beachfront promenade called the Lagoon filled with cafes and restaurants, hotels, a theme park, and schools. The idea was that you could live, work, and play without ever needing to leave the islands. It was a self-contained utopia, a slice of Miami Beach dropped into the Arabian Gulf. And for a while, it seemed to be working. The lagoon with its outdoor cafes and retail outlets became a popular spot, especially in the cooler months. People bought apartments with stunning sea views and a community began to form. It had a buzz that some of the other megaprojects lacked. It felt lived in, at least in parts. The promise of a vibrant cosmopolitan community seemed within reach. You could see the dream taking shape, one alfresco coffee at a time. The waves were, for a moment, looking pretty good. However, the tide began to turn. The project's development was fragmented, handled by numerous sub-developers. This led to a lack of cohesion and, more importantly, a lack of consistent quality and pacing. While some parts of Amwaj flourished, others languished. Construction on key infrastructure projects stalled, leaving roads unfinished and essential services lagging. It was like a group project where everyone did their own part without talking to each other, resulting in a Frankenstein's monster of a community. Today, Amwaj is a study in contrasts. You can be sitting in a bustling cafe at the lagoon, and just a few blocks away, you'll find half-finished apartment buildings, their concrete skeletons exposed to the elements. There are entire streets of completed villas that remain stubbornly empty, their for-sale signs fading in the sun. The promised theme park never materialized, leaving a giant empty plot of land as a monument to broken promises. The infrastructure issues persist, with residents complaining about everything from sewage problems to inadequate road maintenance. The problem of unsold and empty properties is rampant. A drive through the islands reveals a significant number of ghost buildings, fully completed apartment blocks with not a single light on at night. The supply of high-end residential units simply swamped the demand. The initial rush of expatriate buyers slowed to a trickle, hit by the same economic and political headwinds that affected other projects, as well as increasing competition from other developments in Bahrain and across the Gulf. What was meant to be a seamless, integrated paradise now feels disjointed and incomplete. The vibrant, active areas are pockets within a much larger, quieter, and sometimes derelict landscape. It's like a beautiful painting that the artist never got around to finishing, with vibrant strokes of color next to blank, empty canvas. The dream of a perfect waterside community has been muddied by the messy realities of poor planning and economic downturn. Amwaj Islands is a classic example of a good idea hampered by flawed execution. The concept was strong, freehold ownership for expats was a brilliant move, but the fragmented development, lack of centralized oversight, and the failure to complete key infrastructure and amenities have left the project adrift. It's a community that is permanently under construction, caught in a limbo between the glossy brochure and the harsh light of day. The waves came, but they also left a lot of debris on the shore. Of all the stalled projects in Bahrain, none is quite as visually dramatic or heartbreakingly symbolic as Marina West. This wasn't just a project that fell short of its goals, this was a project that fell off a cliff. It was designed to be a stunning $700 million high-end residential beachfront development on Bahrain's west coast, offering spectacular sea views and a life of unparalleled luxury. The plan was for 11 residential towers containing over 1,000 apartments complemented by a marina, private beach, and extensive leisure facilities. The marketing campaign was aggressive and targeted the aspirational middle class and international investors. They sold a dream of affordable luxury, a chance to own a piece of the high life with a waterfront view. The promotional materials showed happy, beautiful people lounging by the pool, yachts bobbing in the marina, and sleek modern apartments. They sold it hard, and people bought into it, literally. Hundreds of buyers, both local and international, put down significant deposits, securing their future homes in the sky. Construction began with a great deal of fanfare in 2007. The concrete skeletons of the 11 towers began to rise from the ground, a tangible sign of progress. For the buyers who had invested their life savings, watching the towers take shape was a thrilling experience. Their dream was becoming a concrete reality. The project was moving forward, and soon, they would be collecting the keys to their new life. It was, for a moment, a story of hope and upward mobility. Then, in 2010, it all came to a sudden, grinding halt. The developer, a partnership between local and Saudi firms, ran into severe financial difficulties, reportedly exacerbated by the global financial crisis. Work on the site stopped completely. The cranes fell silent, the workers went home, and the buyers were left in a state of shock and disbelief. Their dream homes were now just unfinished concrete shells, open to the wind and rain. What followed was a decade-long saga of legal battles, broken promises, and dashed hopes. The buyers, many of whom had paid up to 80% of the property value, formed committees and launched campaigns to either restart the project or get their money back. They were trapped in a legal nightmare. They didn't own the properties because they weren't finished, but their money was tied up in them. It was the worst of all possible worlds. The government made several attempts to intervene, auctioning the project off to new developers, but these efforts repeatedly failed. The sheer scale of the debt and the complexity of the legal claims made it an unattractive prospect for potential rescuers, so the towers just stood there year after year, slowly decaying. They became a landmark for all the wrong reasons, a monument to financial collapse and shattered dreams. Driving past Marina West today is a haunting experience. The 11 towers stand in a silent skeletal row against the coastline. They are a ghost fleet of buildings, their empty window sockets looking like vacant eyes. The site is frozen in time, a snapshot of the exact moment the money ran out. Rebar rusts in the salty air, and graffiti now covers the lower floors. It is Bahrain's most prominent and painful symbol of the construction boom's dark side. Marina West is more than just an economic failure, it's a human tragedy. It represents the life savings of over 800 families, evaporated into thin air. It's a story of trust betrayed, and dreams turned into a concrete nightmare. Unlike the other projects on our list, which are merely underoccupied or incomplete, Marina West is a total, catastrophic failure, a stark and unavoidable warning about the risks of off-plan property investment in a volatile market. It's a graveyard of ambition, visible to everyone who drives along the highway. Our final stop is Bahrain Bay, a project that is, in many ways, the most visually stunning and yet deeply perplexing of them all. Located right in the heart of Manama, this $2.5 billion waterfront development was envisioned as the city's new downtown, a dazzling mixed-use hub that would seamlessly blend residential, commercial, hospitality, and retail spaces. It was designed by Skidmore, Owings and Merrill, the same architectural firm behind the Burj Khalifa, so you know the ambition was sky-high. The centerpiece of the master plan is a circular bay of water, around which a collection of architecturally significant buildings would rise. The vision was of a pedestrian-friendly, vibrant urban space, a 24/7 destination. It would feature iconic structures like the Arcapita Bank headquarters, an imposing glass cube that appears to float on the water, and the United Tower, a twisting skyscraper that looks like it's trying to unscrew itself from the ground. It was meant to be the jewel in Manama's crown. Unlike Marina West, Bahrain Bay is not a complete failure. Several of the flagship buildings have been completed and are occupied. The Arcapita building is a stunning piece of architecture, and the Four Seasons Hotel, which occupies its own man-made island in the center of the bay, is a world-class luxury destination. The twisting United Tower also houses a hotel and offices. On the surface, Bahrain Bay has some serious architectural street cred. However, the vibrant, integrated urban center part of the vision has been incredibly slow to materialize. For years, the project has felt more like a collection of isolated, albeit beautiful buildings separated by vast, empty plots of land. You have these magnificent, futuristic structures, and right next to them, nothing but sand and construction hoarding. The pedestrian-friendly waterfront promenade that was supposed to tie everything together has been developed in fits and starts. Walking around Bahrain Bay can feel like wandering through a futuristic architectural model that was never fully assembled. The promised connectivity is lacking. There's a tangible disconnect between the finished buildings, the space doesn't flow. The bustling 24/7 urban energy that was promised in the brochures is conspicuously absent. It's quiet, too quiet for what is supposed to be the new city center. It has the buildings, but it's missing the soul, the people. The slow progress can be attributed to the familiar culprits, the 2008 financial crisis and the subsequent regional instability, which made developers and investors cautious. Plots of land that were sold to third-party developers have sat empty for years, waiting for the market conditions to be just right. The project's development has been piecemeal, lacking the critical mass needed to generate the vibrant atmosphere it was designed for. In recent years, there have been signs of life. More construction is underway and new residential and retail projects are slowly filling in the gaps. But the pace is glacial. The grand vision of a fully realized, bustling downtown remains a distant prospect. It's a project that has been up and coming for well over a decade, a perpetual state of becoming that never quite becomes. Bahrain Bay represents a different kind of failure, not the catastrophic collapse of Marina West or the eerie emptiness of Durat Al Bahrain, but the failure of momentum. It's a beautiful, expensive, and incredibly well-designed project that has been stuck in first gear for most of its existence. It serves as a lesson that even with world-class architects and a prime location, creating a truly vibrant urban space requires more than just a few statement buildings. It requires sustained investment, market confidence, and most importantly, time. Bahrain Bay has the ambition, but it's still waiting for the rest of the puzzle pieces to fall into place. From deserted pearl-shaped islands to the skeletal remains of luxury towers, Bahrain's landscape is a museum of ambition. These projects were not just about building structures, they were about building a new identity for the nation, one that looked beyond oil towards a future of global finance and tourism. They are a testament to the incredible power of human engineering and the boundless optimism of a boom time. But they are also stark, multi-billion-dollar reminders that even the grandest visions can be humbled by economic reality, political shifts, and simple miscalculation. The story of these developments is a cautionary tale that resonates far beyond the shores of this small island kingdom. All around the world, cities are racing to build bigger, taller, and more spectacular projects to compete on the global stage. But the line between visionary and delusional is razor thin. The lesson from Bahrain is that building a community is infinitely more complex than building a skyscraper. It requires not just capital and concrete, but genuine demand, sustainable planning, and the patience to let a place grow organically. You can't just pour a foundation and expect a soul to spring forth. These empty buildings and stalled projects are not just financial losses, they are lost opportunities and in some cases, broken dreams. They stand as a challenge to future developers and city planners everywhere. Build for the world that is, not just the world you wish existed. Look beyond the glossy renders and ask the hard questions before the first shovel hits the ground. Which of these failed projects surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below.